Hey guys, this video should go pretty quick. We're back with the notes for 10.3. We are not doing anything new. We're just going to put 10.1 and 10.2 together. We're going to write the vertex form equation from the graph, and then we're going to convert that equation into standard form. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go through these. First two problems, I'm going to write their vertex form, remind you how we got it. I'm going to go through both of them separately, do the EDC, remind you how we get that, and from then on out, I'll just do one full problem at a time, okay? All right, in problem 1, my vertex is at 0, 0. Remember, this is my vertex, and that gives me my H and my K. I have it color-coded at the top. For the A part, when we do that, if I zoom in real quick, remember that means when I go out one box, I'm counting how far until I hit the graph. I'm only going up one space. Up 1 means it's a positive 1. If I plug those numbers in, sometimes you like to write it up here. That means it's y equals 1, parenthesis x minus 0 squared plus 0. That's me plugging in my three pieces. So my k, my h, and my a. Couple rules we need to know is you never leave a 1 in front of the parentheses. You never leave a 0 in the parenthesis, and you never put a 0 at the end. So all I need is y equals the x and the squared. That's it. That happens to be my parent function. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, my vertex is 3 to the right up 1, so we're 3, 1. My a value, if I zoom it in, I'm going out 1 and down 1 before I hit the parabola. Down 1 means it's a negative. Some people like to write it out first, so y equals a negative 1, parenthesis, x minus 3, I'm plugging in my numbers, squared plus 1. Can color code the same things. All right, so one more time, we never put a 1 in front of the parenthesis, but I do need the negative. I can leave x minus 3 inside. Make sure you have the squared, and I do keep a plus 1 on the outside. Okay? All right, that's vertex form refresh. For my EDC, remember that stands for expand the parentheses. If I don't have parentheses, then I would skip that step. Distribute means multiply by anything that was before the parentheses. I didn't have parentheses, so I'm going to skip the distribute step. Finally, combine means put your last two terms together, the ones without the x's. So my combined step, I'm going to skip also. My final answer just happens to be the exact same thing. He's my parent function. He has no transformations. Let's do a more exhaustive one on number 2. All right, let's see what that looks like. If I expand my parentheses, that means I'm going to keep everything before them and everything after them. I'm going to take off the squared, and I'm going to remember that there's 3 pieces inside. The first one is always x squared. The middle one is double, so that's a negative 6. I make sure I keep him with an x. And then the last one is the number squared. So 3 squared is 9. He is always positive. Okay? All right, distribute. We're going to multiply all of these by a negative. That gives me a negative x squared, no more parenthesis. Negative 2 and negative right here. Let me change colors. Negative 2 and negative right here gives me a plus 6x. Negative 2, this positive gives me a minus, so minus 9, no parentheses, plus 1. When you do combine, it's going to give you the answer. You're going to put that straight onto the line, so combine these guys. Y equals negative x squared plus 6x, that's what I had. These together are going to make a negative 8, so that's my final answer in standard form. Okay? If you need to pause the screen, write that down, go ahead and do it. We're moving on to 3 and 4. Great. So looking at 3 and 4, first thing I notice is that my vertex on number 3 is at 0, 0. So I'm going to write him 0, 0. My A, I'm going to zoom in. If I go out one space, I would have to go up 1, 2, 3 before I hit him. Up is positive, so positive 3. Plugging these in, if you have remembered that we don't use zeros, then you will know it's y equals 3. Don't need the parentheses, so just x squared. There is no work for this one, so we're going to go straight to the final answer. If this was a test, I do expect you to fill in something for both blanks. Okay, there's no work, but I do expect you to put something for both blanks. All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4, the vertex is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, comma 5, because we went up 5. If I went zoomed in, out 1 space, I would have to go down 1 to hit the graph. That means my A is at a -1. Writing those out, we could say y equals -1, parenthesis x minus 0 squared plus 5. I'll show you where I'm getting all my colors from. All right, so I don't need the 1 in front of the parentheses. I can just say y equals negative. I don't need the parentheses because there's a 0 in there, so I can say x squared. But I do need the plus 5. When you have no parentheses, that means there's no expand, no distribute, and nothing to combine. You can go straight to a final answer with no work. You are just going to copy it down. It stays exactly the same. Okay. All right. If you missed anything on the screen, go ahead and pause it, copy it down. Let's go to the next page. All right. I wrote the equation at the top of my page. If you want to do that too, as well as the EDC, you could pause for a second to do that. Otherwise, we're going to get started. All right, number 5. My vertex is at 2, 1. 2 to the right, 1 up. My A value, if I went out 1 box, I would have to go up 1 box to hit him. That means my A is 1. At this point, you should remember that we don't put A's in front of the parenthesis when they're a 1. So I'm going to go straight to my final answer for vertex. Y equals no number out front, x minus 2. Squared, make sure you have the squared, and then plus 1. We're going to expand him out, distribute him, and combine him. So let's zoom in for that. Expanding him means I keep everything before the parentheses, and after, I take off the squared, and I have 3 pieces. The first one's always x squared. The middle one is double, so -4 with an x. The last one is squared, and it's always positive. So 2 times 2 is positive 4. I don't have anything out here to distribute, so I'm actually going to skip this step. And that means when I come down, all I have to do is combine these guys to make my answer. I am going to take off the parentheses when I do that, though. X squared minus 4x, 1 and 4 makes 5. That's a final answer for EDC. Let's do the same thing for number 6. Number 6, my equation is at -2, -1. That's because I went left 1 and down 1 for my vertex. To get my A, I have to be real careful. Let me change colors even. If I go out 1 space, I actually only go down a half before I hit that parabola. That means my A is a negative, because it went down, 1/2. I do need all 3 of those numbers in my equation. So y equals a -1/2, parentheses x minus a -2, squared minus 1. All right, I'm going to color real quick of where I'm getting things. And then I'm going to point out to you that you have minus a negative. So right here we have that problem. I'm going to slash this all the way across, and then I'm going to turn it into a big plus sign so I don't forget. Let's do EDC with this problem. Expand means I keep everything before the parentheses. I just make them longer and after the parenthesis. I take off the squared, and I remember there's 3 pieces. The first one's always x squared. The middle one is double, so plus 4. Take an x with him. And the last one is squared, so 2 times itself is always positive, and it's a 4. The next one gets a little tricky. We're going to cut these all in half. But we're also going to multiply them by a negative, so be really careful. -1/2 times x squared, you just put the number next to the letter. -1/2 of a positive 4 makes a -2. So I changed the sign and cut it in half. Same thing when I go to this last guy, cut him in half, but I also change him to a negative. Bring down the -1, and my last step is combining. So -2 minus 1. Y equals a -1/2 x squared minus 2x minus 3. All right, if you missed anything on number 5 and 6, go ahead and copy that now. We got 2 more. All right, last 2. Problem number 7, my vertex is at a -3, -5. That's because we went left 3, down 5. If I zoom in, My A is out 1, up 2. So the A is going to be a positive 2. Plugging those in, I'm going to have y equals 2 parentheses x minus a negative 3 squared minus 5. I'm going to fix this right here. Minus a negative means it needs to turn into one big plus sign. Let's do EDC with him. I'm going to expand. Remember, I make the parentheses longer, keep what's before and after. I'm going to take off the squared and keep 3 pieces in the parenthesis. I'm going to always start with an x squared, double the middle, put an x with it, and square the last one. So 3 squared is 9. Make sure he's positive. Distribute means I'm going to multiply everybody inside by 2. So 2x squared plus 12x plus 18. I do not double the 5 because he's not in the parentheses. I just bring him down. And then I'm going to combine him. So I copy everything that I have, except the last 2. 18 minus 5 is 13. We have one more problem. We are almost done, guys. Hang in there. All right, number 8. Vertex is at negative 3 because we went left 3, comma 0. 0 means we won't put it in the equation. Remember that. For the A, we went out 1, down 1. So down 1 means it's negative. Remember, we do not put 1s in front of the parenthesis, but I do need the negative. So negative, parenthesis x minus negative 3 squared, and I don't need the plus 0. I do, however, need to fix this. 2 minuses turns into one big plus sign, and now we can do EDC. Expand means I'm going to make my parentheses longer and keep what's before and after. I need 3 pieces, starting with an x squared, double the middle, so 6x, square the end, so plus 9. Distribute means I multiply by whatever's in front, so I'm going to change all their signs. Negative x squared, negative 6x, negative 9. There is nobody to combine, so this is actually my answer. I'm going to zoom out real quick. If you missed anything, go ahead and copy it down. You can pause the screen if you need to. Otherwise, we are done. Have a great day.